Alright, we got a few new reports on the currently available center market. Yes, the Lakers did obviously add to their center rotation, adding both DeAndre Ayton, along with bringing back Jackson Hayes, but many think that you could still use a third center option, maybe a power forward center hybrid, one that's a little bit more reliable and a little bit better than Maxi Kleber, and there might be one that is in fact on the open market still, that being Al Horford. Yes, he is 39, but by far the best option left on the open market in my opinion. Whether you're talking about a center option or a power forward center hybrid option, definitely the best and most proven option by far in the open market. And according to reports, he might not be a guarantee to sign with Golden State, which was previously thought to be the case. This coming from Mark Spears of ESPN, saying that the Golden State Warriors expected him to sign with their team last week, but he didn't. Also following up with that the Lakers, Milwaukee Bucks, and the Atlanta Hawks are also showing interest in him. So with that in mind here, could a team like the Lakers maybe steal him away from Golden State, signing him and talking him into signing with their team instead of them? Maybe. And here's what Mark Spears had to say about that.
And then obviously the one that everybody's worrying about is Al Horford. Like, what's going to happen with Al Horford? You know, Golden State obviously expected him to sign last week. He didn't. Lakers, Milwaukee, Atlanta, I believe, are also interested in the nearly 40-year-old guy who also has retirement on the table.
Right.
He's still considering retiring. He's not in any hurry. He's got a 6th kid coming on the way. He lives in Atlanta and Boston in the offseason. But I'm hearing that whether it's Golden State or, lesser extent if it's the Lakers, like being away from his family that far isn't going to be in that decision.
Like I said, Golden State's not a lock to sign him, but I would call them the favorites to sign him yet. Between the fact that they have plenty of playing time to offer him, only having centers like Quinton Post and Trace Jackson Davis under contract, they're more of a veteran team that would probably fit pretty well with Al Horford and the guys they'd want to play with. Then the fact that they have the most money to offer him, at least between the teams that were listed here, Golden State having the potential full mid-level exception to offer him, if they would, or maybe a portion of it. I think also having the biannual exception, so could offer him more than simply a veteran minimum, if money is something that Al Horford is prioritizing or kind of looking for here too. Though again, if he doesn't pick Golden State and might want to go to a different option, whether that be the Lakers, Bucks, or the Atlanta Hawks here, could the Lakers maybe talk him into joining their team, and would it be a good fit for them? We'll talk about that, along with a new center addition that just hit the open market, that player being Holmes, having recently been bought out by the Washington Wizards, which we talked about last week and why it was likely an option for them, then waiving him due to having a partially guaranteed contract for next season, being the first domino to fall of a potentially long list of contract buyouts. Hopefully guys that come next might be either Chris Middleton and or Marcus Smart, but Holmes has been waived by their team and therefore is an available free agent. So we'll talk about if the Lakers should or maybe will have interest in either of them. But beginning with Al Horford here, yes, he is 39 and probably going into his final year in the NBA, but that doesn't mean that he's still not a very productive big and probably the best big left on the open market. In fact, I really don't think it's an argument. Between the fact that he was still a very productive player last season, coming off of averaging roughly 9 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, 2 assists per game, 1 block per game, shooting 42% from the field and 36.3% from 3, not to mention on a very high volume of 5.2 attempts per game. That's high volume for any player or any position for that fact, let alone for a center or power forward center hybrid like himself that was playing under 28 minutes per game. So very impressive shooting ability, one of the best if not the best 3-point shooting big and floor spacing big of the past decade now. Throughout that time frame has shot roughly 38% from the 3-point line, taking about 4 of them per game, and again that's very good for a stretch big. So from that fact and then the fact that he's a very good defender yet, I'm absolutely shocked at how well Al Horford moves his feet yet. For a now 39-year-old that is 6'9" and weighing roughly 240 pounds, the guy can really move his feet well yet. Defending both the perimeter, switching onto wing players and even guards for that fact, then offering rim protection at the same time. That's something that not many bigs in general can do, whether you're talking about a 25-year-old or a 39-year-old like himself, but he's one of the few. So don't simply look at him and point to the fact that he's 39 and say that he's washed up. That would not be true, and at that point, you would be exposing yourself for a casual fan. So with what he has left to offer, could it be a good fit for the Lakers, and should they try to heavily pursue him? Well, they definitely could. Like I said, they could waive the non-guaranteed contract of Shake Milton, then sign Al Horford thereafter and offer him a pretty decent role in the rotation. Wouldn't be a starting role, which he is kind of coming from in Boston, starting in 42 of the 60 games they played in last season. Not sure if he is really prioritizing that or cares that much about it, but they probably couldn't offer that to him. It would likely be an off-the-bench role, playing somewhere between 20 to 25 minutes. Definitely helpful that he can play at both power forward or center in pretty much any matchup. They could throw him out there with either a DeAndre Ayton, playing that power forward spot, even Jackson Hayes off the bench, or then could play him at center with the combination of either LeBron at power forward, Hachimura at power forward, playing with both LeBron and Luka Doncic at the same time on the court. They would have plenty of options with Al Horford and probably could create some pretty fun lineup combinations with him too. Now we haven't heard about or know anything about a contract or certain kind of money amount that he wants here. I really doubt he cares about that. At this point, it's more about competing and trying to win one more championship for himself, not about a money amount and the team that offers him the most money. Though then again, I'm sure he wouldn't mind it if it would come down to the Lakers' 3.9 biannual exception, that's most they can currently offer, or the Golden State Warriors non-taxpayer mid-level exception, that being the full $14.1 million amount here, then I'm sure he would lean in that direction. And if you're talking about if he'd be worth it, whether you're talking about the Lakers offer or the Golden State Warriors offer, yes, he probably would be. Not only about the stats I mentioned before with him, then the advanced stats here with him, having a plus 1.1 defensive BPM rating last season, also having a plus 1.1 defensive EPM rating. Yes, there's a difference, a minor one, but pointing to that here, or simply for value, having a plus 1.3 value over replacement rating. No matter where you look and no matter how you want to put it, Al Horford is worth above a veteran minimum and probably even double or let alone triple that amount. So talking about Al Horford, if he would sign with their team and if they would have to waive Shake Milton to do it, I definitely would do it. I'd do it in a heartbeat at that too. Yes, they filled their center spot, their backup center spot, but I still would sign Al Horford. Whether it's to play at center, power forward, offering more 3-point shooting for their team, more defense for their team, simply another veteran leader for their team, I think he would be a great addition to their team, and there should be no second thought about it if he would take a deal with them. But if he wouldn't, and I kind of don't think he will, again would love to see it, but I think he probably will sign with Golden State here, then should the Lakers maybe think about Holmes, another center that just hit the open market and a guy that can offer some value at that spot, would definitely be more of a third center rather than a second or power forward center hybrid option like Al Horford, but he wouldn't be a terrible option. He is coming off a year of averaging roughly 7 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, nearly 1 block per game, shooting 65% from the field and does happen to be a lob threat. That's kind of his best attribute in my opinion, being a lob threat, an athletic big around the rim, good dump off guy, pretty good offensive rebounder, and simply a pretty athletic vertical threat around the rim. That's kind of what Holmes offers. Though he's not the best 3-point shooting big, doesn't offer much or any of that, isn't a great defensive option. Yes, he is pretty athletic and might block a shot or two here and there, but that doesn't mean he's a great rim protector or a great defender in general. So I guess I wouldn't hate it. Not sure I go out of my way to waive Shake Milton to sign him and put my priority on him. I definitely prioritize a 3-and-D wing or a better point of attack defender first here. Again, wouldn't absolutely hate it. If they would maybe make a trade and open up multiple spots in their team, then I would feel better about it and feel better about adding him for some additional center depth. Though at this point I wouldn't spend that spot on him. I definitely would for Al Horford, but not for Holmes here. So with that in mind here, what do you guys think? How do you feel about the reports saying that Al Horford is an option yet and directly for the Lakers too? Would you make him your top priority and what length would you go to sign him? And then how do you feel about Holmes? Would you try and sign him if you can't get Al Horford? Would you make him a priority or would you simply ignore him? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But I think that'll pretty much do it for this one. And if you enjoyed the video, then I would greatly appreciate it if you dropped a like, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit that notification bell to never miss out when I upload a video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day or night.